I don't think we're going to disappoint any of the public.
There you go. We're live.
All right. It's 5 o'clock. I call the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission meeting to order. This is a special meeting on May 8th, 2025. We have one item on the agenda. I guess the first item ought to be to welcome Scotty Wilson, but we can take that up another time. The item on the agenda right now is issue 2025-17, 2025-18, 2025-19, and 2025-20. Establishing dates for promotional testing for captain, lieutenant, sergeant, and corporal. Mr. Alderton, what have we got?
Yes, sir. In discussion with Ms. Sullivan over at the Sheriff's Office, the dates that you have available this month to test is that of May 27th, May 29th, and May 30th. The time is up to you. Typically, since I've been associated this go round with the commission, we have set the promotional examinations at 9 o'clock. Each one of those levels is afforded the opportunity of 3 hours to take the test. So, we started at 9 o'clock. And by the time we actually tell them to turn the page, it's generally about 9:20, about that point. So it's 3 hours from roughly that point.
Well, I guess the issues are, these are dates that the rooms are available,
The training,
and we can go, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's just a question now, I guess, proctors?
Yeah, I cannot do it because
Okay.
my son is taking the test. So.
Oh, okay. No. All right, I cannot do the 27th at 9 o'clock. I could do it later in the day. I can do the 29th or the 30th.
30th would work best for me because I'm not available the 27th or the 29th.
We don't need two of us, Scotty, unless you want to do it. You know, it's up to you.
It don't make a difference however you want to do it.
I don't care. I'm available 29th or 30th. If you want to take it, you're welcome to it on the 30th.
I can do that. I'd be glad to do it on the 30th.
Man,
Afternoon. Evening. Hi.
Good.
need a motion.
Yeah, I think we
Yes.
need a motion to set that.
I move that we set the testing date, promotional testing date for the open positions on May 30th at 9 o'clock a.m.
Second.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It carries.
I'd like to speak on
Oh, sorry.
that if possible.
Sorry. Yeah, go right ahead.
I was just aware of this today, and I know that day we have quite a lot of trainings that are occurring, and they're on orders. So, for instance, I know Deputy Weidman is directed to go to Connecticut for CIT training, and I think we have PIT training and another training that's happening that day. So, at 0900 hours, I don't know what she's going to.
Okay.
She's going to be in New Haven, Connecticut, and I know that the others are going to be in Harper's Ferry and at other various locations. So I don't know how you all are able to accommodate that on a post-makeup day, but she is directed away
Yeah.
She will be away,
that
what
week.
days? The whole week.
That whole week. That whole week we have training of driver's training, and we have what's this? Hit and roadblock, I believe. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention that it's not they're on vacation, and it's you've chosen that. I mean, you have individuals who are directed, and this is a captain down test, so you're going to have senior leadership that is in charge of these trainings that are going to have to either abandon or.
So we're also told that the whole month of June is out for all the training. So
I believe that there was a date that was provided. It was told by me by Ms. Sullivan.
Well, to digress a second, when we were discussing these tests, yes, basically the whole month was out. She did reply back one day, but that was then I think the sheriff's office went to Mr. Wine about having the test sooner rather than later. So that's when we went back and asked for dates in May. And that's what we were given, was these 3 dates.
The whole purpose of this special meeting was to accommodate a request to move it faster.
I apologize for the record, Trent Heckman. I
Yeah.
guess I'm speaking as captain at this point, but that's I just don't want to see individuals that are at directed participation not able to participate. I wasn't aware of
Okay.
the status of this meeting really until today, to be honest with you. And I know in the olden days, I'll date myself a little bit, but it used to be we're testing everybody. It's a church, and whether you're on vacation, you're on vacation. I left from Virginia Beach to come back and test for, I think, corporal or sergeant. I get that, but I've never been directed to go somewhere. For instance, I'm going to Anaheim, California in a little bit. If I was a lieutenant and I was on a captain's date, I'd be very upset to not be able to test. So I just wanted to bring it to your all's attention because I just literally heard of it, and I'm sorry that it's at this moment.
I'm understanding there's no availability in June.
There was a date.
There is a date that was given to me today because of the new vacancy that they're going to have. That date was discussed as June 16th.
June 16th. Right. Now, that's a date at which, let's get this clear, that's a date at which the room is available for testing. Is that the point?
That is the room is available for testing, but I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
If I can, I'll speak as Trent Heckman and not as a captain.
Okay.
I think I disagree with the position that the commission has taken over the last couple of years to where we're accommodating vacations. And I feel like we're getting into that blurred line. I'm not here on behalf of that argument. I think a lot of times when you're saying, is this a good date? Our agency or the commission is looking at, are people here or are they on vacation? That's separate of what what I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on actual training dates. And if you look at the calendar, you might have conflicts with vacations. I can't speak to the training dates.
Right.
No, and I agree with him. I mean, it's
I don't know that I haven't done that intentionally, if that's been the case. But
no, I don't think. Brandy had alluded to there's not an officer that's on leave on June 16th. And I don't think that was. Yeah, see,
yeah, and then,
that's yeah. I hear you.
Let me ask a question. What's the earliest, from looking today, what's the earliest that we could offer to give the test?
That last week of May, when he's saying that they're going to be away. After
And that's
that,
because of the statutory requirement of 2 weeks?
yeah, 2 weeks notice. Yeah.
Okay, so today's the 8th. So the earliest 2 weeks would be the 22nd. Am I correct on that? 2 weeks from today would be the 22nd.
That's certainly true. Yes.
could we have the test exam over here in this room?
I don't know the availability.
Right,
now.
right. I'm just saying
Okay.
that's not the only room. we could have.
Correct, and we talked about that. Yeah, it doesn't say it has to be at the sheriff's office.
But I mean, you also got volunteers up here that have to make availability to be at proctoring exams. So
Yeah.
we need to take that into consideration too. But I mean, if that whole week's out, then there was no point in this meeting.
Yeah, that's true.
Because 2 weeks from now is going to put us to the last week.
Well, 2 weeks from today would put us to just before the last week, 22nd and
Right,
23rd.
right.
That's a Thursday and Friday. I mean, if we only need one proctor from us, I'm available both of those
Yeah,
days.
I don't think proctor's going to be much of an issue. Some, but we ought to be able to accommodate something. I can't do the 22nd. I can do the 23rd. You know,
I can do 22 or 23. Don't make a difference either day.
But we don't know if we have a room available. anywhere.
yes, that's right.
And can't figure that out tonight, then
Correct.
we're back
Okay.
to May 21st at scheduling.
What's our other alternatives for a room other than this room over here?
We don't have any.
Well, the department room is where we normally have
Yeah.
it, but
Over to
I was
the
just
department
suggesting.
classroom?
Yeah, I was just
Right.
suggesting that we could have
But-
it here if that's not available.
But the email traffic said training is just about all of June.
Can we get the exams in that time period?
Yeah, let's bring it
Right, she's not on leave. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like a single deep office. The thing is, today's the 8th.
But we can't give notice until at least tomorrow.
That's right.
It would give you the 23rd.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And that's
it's
what I was
still-
going to say, when you were saying 22nd, it's going to have to
I'll
be
give
the
you the
23rd.
23rd.
Because the other thing that has to be done is it needs to be run in the journal according to our county legal department. That's what constitutes public notice.
So does the public notice have to be 2 weeks?
Yeah,
So that's not gonna get in the journal tomorrow,
that's correct.
and they don't run on the weekend.
Yeah,
So the soonest you're gonna get it in the paper is Monday.
yeah, 12th. 2 weeks from that is the 26th Memorial Day.
I'll throw it out. You do the June 16th meeting or date for all of it.
Okay, so let me go back, because I'm the new kid on the block here and trying to understand. Why is it June 16th is the only date that we have available? What's keeping us from doing anything the 2nd through the 13th? Is it because you all have training those 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't have all the training in front of me right now. I can tell you that, as far as the training goes, May and June. She texted me as we go, 22nd in classroom is clear.
Correct. That's why I went with those dates at the end of May is for the timing.
So this is our fault, and I apologize. Get a lot of training, just.
If you would, if you'd come up to the mic, I hate asking you to do that, but because the audio doesn't pick up back there. Thank you.
Eric Burnett, Chief. All right, so we're trying to get, so the 22nd is clear in the classroom, but you guys aren't going to be able to do that because
Not enough time.
I'm just curious, why do we have to post public for an internal?
Because that's what the state code
It's state code?
says.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
So I'm not in favor of postponing it for, we were asked to have a special meeting to get an earlier date,
Yes, we will.
voted, we've approved the 29th. I say we stick with it. And somebody at the department needs to decide who's going to be the person to let us know what dates can and can't be used. And it can't just be, like you said, because of vacations. It's got to be, we cannot do it this day. I mean, this is,
But the only thing about doing the 30th is, yes, we did vote on it, we did set it. There were people who wanted to speak, that didn't speak in the discussion period. Let them do that. I think we should. It looks like we either got the 30th and we're going to bump somebody out, or we do the 16th of June. Is that what we're?
And we can't do a makeup day, correct? You guys won't do one?
I'm that's up to them.
my feeling is everybody has to be tested at the same time. I mean, now the other sergeant position doesn't, that's different. That's a new vacancy.
Yeah.
Or new corporal position.
Corporal.
Sorry. But the others, I think, if you're testing for this current one,
If I may add, though, as long as you're testing lieutenant and captain at the same time, and sergeant and corporals at the same time, because those are the same test. I mean, you could have two different test dates if you separated those. Am I making sense? If you test corporal and sergeant today, and then tomorrow you test captain and lieutenants, because those are the same test for captain and lieutenant. That way there's not a risk of a compromise.
so we're saying the week of the 26th is out. That's the soonest we can have it. So that means the week of the 1st or the 2nd would be the next available time. But we don't know, is there direct, if somebody could come up and speak, is there directed training that week, or is it just department training?
I'm waiting for that right now. She's trying to get logged on and send me a picture of the training calendar.
Because if we wait until, and then it's either have another special meeting after we get the details, or wait till the 21st to set it. And if we do that, then we're talking the week of maybe the 6th, but probably not until the 9th.
Right. So if you got to publish in the journal, it'll be the 9th.
Trying to help.
Yeah.
Your captain, your lieutenant, and your sergeant test, I don't believe would be much affected by our training.
Because of the numbers.
You're gonna have two
Right.
testing for captain, one testing for lieutenant, and one testing for sergeant. So I don't think that if you get that would affect that. And the corporals, you all already know
28 that are eligible.
that's the date of where you're having these directed trainings. That's gonna be down. So you may be able to do the,
Gotcha.
and that might actually help the agency, because at that point, Chief Wilson would know you're able to staff the road with your senior staff then.
So are all those who would be testing for sergeant and up, are they available on the 29th? Or are they going to be,
Should be able to make that.
30th.
30th, I mean the 30th, whatever the date was. I should know, I made the motion.
It's the 30th. Yeah.
One would think we should be able to do this, welcome 4 people. If they're in a training status, I think.
And then we can do the corporals on the 16th. Is that what?
Well, we can do it whenever, but is that as critical as the other positions? That's what I don't know. I mean, is the whole reason we had this special meeting because we need another corporal? Or is it
We need them all.
because we need?
We need them all.
I mean, I would, even before knowing this meeting, I would caution the commission never to have all ranks tested the same, because very limited officers that would work.
Right.
We've never really traditionally done all
Okay.
of them at the same time. We may have, but not traditionally.
It sounds like we can do captain, lieutenant on the 30th,
And sergeant.
and sergeant on the 30th.
And with that being said, leadership did know that we were looking to test all ranks at one time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there was agreement.
Yep.
Okay. All right, well, we're gonna, you mind if we modify your motion?
Well, we've got to retract it first, I think.
Yeah.
If I could just say the one person that we're speaking about, she got put on orders to go, to a class that's way up north somewhere. So that just came out of nowhere. So that just kind of hurt the whole corporal test right there. We're just trying to be fair to everybody.
But there's that are in driving
There's still-
training,
there's still a lot.
Next county will, at 0900 would be.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Would you make a motion?
Real quick before you
Yep.
you go through it, if you look at your current rules, you have addressed this. And it says specifically mandatory duties of deputy sheriff. If a deputy sheriff is not in the area that the written examination is being administered due to mandatory duty, i.e. previously scheduled training, prisoner transport, or investigation that is court ordered or cannot be conducted by another deputy sheriff, may at the discretion of the Civil Service Commission have a different date set for examination. A letter from the sheriff explaining fully the circumstances will be submitted to the Civil Service Commission for consideration. So it is in the rules that you can give such a consideration. So we can hold the test, and the immediate availability of her, that we can, and that's going to make it a lot easier as far as picking a room, because you'd only need spot for her, and you could go from there.
There's more than just her, sir.
There's going to be a few.
Okay?
But they're all
sorry, I
on orders.
misunderstood. I thought it was one person.
Well, that's what started a lot of this, but yes, there's several that are on special orders to go to training. If we could do that test, and then this small percentage of people could take a makeup test like the following week, if that's possible.
Are all of them out the whole week?
It's
Or is it just that day?
I wish I had all my orders in front of me, and I don't. It's all over the place. I mean, our training is just a lot. And I should have brought all that stuff with me. But if there's a way, and I know you don't want to do this, but if there's a way to do it, to test them all on the 30th, and then do that small amount of people to go and do a makeup.
How many is a small amount of people?
10.
Concerned about the integrity? You concerned about the integrity?
Is it the same test that's been done for the past 30 years? Same as the
I
the
assume
entrance
so.
exam?
It is. It is.
I don't know if there's really like an integrity thing if it's been here for 30 years and it's been the same test over and over and over again.
When you talk about integrity, often you're talking about perception more than anything else. You know?
Yeah. Appearing to be
Yeah.
independent is
Yeah,
important
yeah.
as being.
Well, I just know in my old job we used to do that. We used to go ahead and have a test date, actually several test dates, and then like makeup test dates, and it's the integrity of the person.
So the idea of having captain, lieutenant, sergeant test on the 30th and then a corporal test doesn't sound like a solution to you.
That would be fine if I was just trying to
Yeah.
do them all at the same time. I mean, yeah, that'd be fine with me.
So you're saying the 10 people that we would be talking about are all in the corporal position? They're not in the sergeant,
There's
lieutenant,
28
or
of
the
them, so
captain?
yeah. Yes, sir.
You think we can get 28
People to
Yeah,
test.
on a date?
I doubt it.
We're not gonna have 28 people test.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't think I think it's highly unlikely we get them all on the same date. So, I mean, I think probably the best solution is to go ahead and have it and then set a date. I mean, I hate
Okay.
to think we'd have to have 10 different dates for 10 different people, but it says that we need to accommodate them or we,
Yeah, so
at our
or
discretion.
discretion,
The
yeah.
only thing I would say is, if we set the second date, I think we need something from the sheriff's office that says who those people are and why they can't be there.
Well, yeah.
Because if you don't, then you're going to have someone that's going to say, well, I want to do this one, no, I want to do this one. No. If they're here on the 30th, then they will test on the 30th. If they're not here
Unless-
because of
You're
training.
saying all 4 ranks?
Yep.
Okay.
If I understood correctly, it only affects the corporals, is that correct? Captain seems to think so, it only affects the corporals.
It should, yes.
So everybody will test on, if we say it's the 30th, everybody will test on that day. The only people that won't will be those that we excuse because you have sent us a letter saying that they have mandatory training and can't be here.
Okay.
And we agree
And then
that
we'll set a date for
vacation is-
them.
Vacation is not one of those.
Yes.
Vacation does not count. Yes, sir.
Mandatory training. This is very specific in the rules where it says that mandatory duty as a deputy sheriff, i.e. previously scheduled training, prisoner transport or investigation that is court ordered and cannot be conducted by another deputy sheriff, then the commission can give consideration to setting
I'll
another
have my
date.
list of everybody.
So
for that.
vacations, none of that applies.
Right, yes, sir.
So we'll set the date for the 30th we could set it for all the positions.
Okay.
And if they can't make it because of one of these reasons, then we'll just need a letter from the sheriff that says who they are, why they can't do it, and we can set them up for the alternative date.
That's more than fair, yes, sir.
And hopefully when they are available, right? We're gonna not do this again, right?
Right.
And please, so that you all understand, we're trying to accommodate this as best we can.
Yeah.
This is going to delay the whole promotional process, at least for that rank.
Yeah.
And that's on you all and those folks for not being here on the date that's set.
The commission's aware as well, though, that late having one start getting a lot of the litigation. We're doing that. I understand there's a delay for sure, but we could be other ways.
Understood. We're trying to work with you here so we can make this thing in a fast and orderly process. That's why I'd said about potentially the 23rd, but not thinking about the paper and not doing it. So I want to see this happen as quickly as possible, but this is going to delay at least, if I'm understanding you correctly, this is only going to affect those for the corporal position. It won't delay the captain, the lieutenant, or the sergeants, but it is going to delay the corporals as far as their promotions being announced because of the secondary test.
Okay, so I have a question, and I haven't heard it, and maybe you're not there yet. Roughly, how long of a delay are you talking? And here's where I'm getting at with this question. The day of the testing, we box up the test. They send us X number. I have to send back that X number back to them the day of the test. If you're talking corporals are going to test one day, and then I'm going to say the following week they're going to test, I'm not able to send back the same test. And oh, by the way, when I mail back that test, and it could be going back to that grievance thing, somebody could say, hey, that's unfair. Because they're going to send in a different test the second time around from what was first sent to us.
I wouldn't be concerned about the different type of test. What I would say is my position, that would be you contact the Division of Personnel and tell them what we've done and ask them, can we keep X amount of tests out for the secondary test date? If not, then you go ahead and send all those tests back and go ahead and immediately order the number of tests we need for the next test date.
But that's going to be a different test, right?
It will be.
There are two different tests
A and
that I'm
B.
aware of. There's an A and B.
So we can't have different
You have to
tests.
publish and
I
make
don't
up
know
tests.
that, I mean, it's for corporal. Why would there be an issue as far as A and B tests? I don't,
Because it's not, everybody's not taking the same test.
but it's all for,
It is the same
I mean,
questions,
for
just
a thing,
rearranged.
Yeah.
I think if you call the Division of
can't
Personnel and
measure-
tell them what you're doing, I think they would allow you to keep the right amount of tests back
We
to
can't be
finish
the
that
only ones
process
doing
out.
this.
Hey, we've got nothing to lose by calling them and asking them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest.
I would
is
say
find
we
out
call
from
them and ask them, and since they've been, to this point, as I understand, they said, you can order as many tests as you want, just as long as we get them all back, then why couldn't we ask them, say, hey, this is what's happened, we got to split the test date, can we keep X amount of tests for the second date and then send them back? I'll bet you'll get an answer, it'll be yes.
So once we get that letter saying who can't test, and we can talk to Brandy or the department,
We'll know
whoever, when's the
before.
next available day, all those people have with, that they don't have mandatory training or any of those things that were in there, doesn't count, vacations don't count, and we're going to do it as soon as we can do it on that day.
I would say we need that letter tomorrow.
I can have that next week. Okay.
That letter tomorrow. Yeah, not next week's
I don't
chief,
know.
I'm sorry, but we
All
need
right.
that more, to speed this process.
We got to find out who even wants to test first, right? Before we can even do that letter.
Correct. The intention was tomorrow morning, send out an email because they
Okay.
have to send a letter back saying their intent to test.
Okay, but I don't think that would stop you from sending us a letter saying, if these people want to test, they won't be here this date. You could go ahead and tell us who the people are. You can go ahead and tell, and if they decide not to test, that makes it mute altogether.
Okay.
But if they decide to test, we can look at the list and say, you're on that list, you can't test on the 30th, so we're going to test you on this day.
I'll have it for you tomorrow by close business. Is that too late?
That would work. We could do that, can't we?
give
You
you a-
guys got to step in and tell me to slow down here, 'cause I don't mean to take
I was
over.
hoping for like
but
Wednesday, but no.
I understand
And
their
you guys just
spot. They're
tomorrow.
trying to speed the process up, and so is this
Yeah.
commission. We want to make this as quick as possible.
This is why we have a commission,
Yes.
to
This
make
is one of those
sure that
things,
it's
and-
fair to everybody.
We gotta
And
try to
it's-
work around it as best we can. That, to me, that's the best workaround we have at this point.
I appreciate what you guys did, as far as the makeup test goes. I think that's gonna help out a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so
Well,
we
thank
need
you
to,
all.
we need to set the primary date,
Which we've done.
which we've done. Now we need to set a makeup date.
Well, I don't think that's what it says, though. Doesn't it say as soon as possible? Isn't that what you read?
That's,
So I don't think we can do that until we know.
I think you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Because you
doesn't
gotta
have
give
to-
them 2 weeks' notice.
No, that doesn't have to be advertised. They're making up for the prior test that was
at the
already
discretion of the
set.
Civil
Nobody
Service
else is gonna
Commission,
be eligible
have
for
a
that
different date
test.
set for examination. I think you could go ahead and set that date.
But we have no idea if those people are gonna have mandatory
No, but
training.
if he goes ahead and does the publication for the 30th and puts in there that the makeup test date is, I think we've covered the 2 weeks
How
notice.
can the sheriff provide us a letter saying who's available or not available if we don't have the second date? You know what I mean? You gotta have the date set so we know.
Well,
Can I see that?
Yeah,
That's not what I was
absolutely.
thinking.
Okay.
That you read.
Down at the bottom.
Can I provide you all with a second date that we see tomorrow with all of our purple candidates that are going to be available for a certain date? Can I just give you guys a date?
Sure, let's see what you got.
Thank you, sir.
You all got something to
Pardon me?
Huh?
Do we have to have an official meeting, open meeting, noticed meeting in order to set the second date?
I think we can do that tonight. We're discussing the issue of these promotions.
I believe the chief just said he would provide us a date
The
tomorrow.
second date, yeah.
Oh, I thought you was gonna give me a date right now.
No, tomorrow, he said.
Why do we have to have them, we're discussing that now and saying we know there's needs a date. And if he's gonna provide us with a date, why would we have to have another meeting? Why would we not cover that right now?
Because we don't know what the date's
Yeah,
gonna
if
be.
some of those people may have mandatory training on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the next week, and we can't. We'll be right back, and now we're gonna have to have a third date.
I don't think we can set the date until we know what date is gonna work.
Well, then we'll have to hold a new special meeting just for that date, that which could, well. Trying to wrap my head around this.
See, I don't think that date needs to be advertised. I don't see why the second date needs to be advertised,
So
because that's just coordination with the people who can't be there for the first one.
Correct.
It's not open to anybody who didn't make it for any reason. It's just the people that
I
are.
see what you're saying, you're right.
So, I mean, you could have them come in on the Saturday, the next day and take it. But I mean, and theoretically, not suggesting we do this, but we could have 10 different dates for 10 different people, but 'cause I think it doesn't state that there.
Okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's one of those things, we're gonna make a decision, maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. Someone wants to challenge us, they'll
Yep.
just have to challenge us. We're gonna do it the best intent.
It's time
of
for a
what we
motion.
think the law and the rules say.
Well, I don't think we've got a motion.
So we've already agreed on the 30th, right?
I
Is that
don't think
correct?
we need another
Yes.
motion.
All right.
We'll just
Who's
follow the
testing
rules
on
from
the
there.
30th?
What's that?
Who's testing on the 30th?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Corporals included.
And then those who are not available on the 30th, we will get a letter from the sheriff or from Chief Burnett.
When the alternate test date is.
By tomorrow by,
Close of business. 5 p.m., right?
I work till midnight.
That's why I said 1,700. You would wait till 11:59. I know how you are. I think we can do that.
All right.
Are we pushing the envelope a little
All
bit? I think we are, but that's okay. We're
Mr.
pushing it in the best interest.
John, thoughts? We okay?
Yeah.
I mean, the commission, I think, has decided that that's what we're gonna do.
I think in the future too, we keep this room open as an option since it's so close. And
Yeah.
if the
Oh,
training
I-
room's booked, if we can use this, that'd be,
Oh, I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
At least gives us another, whole new set of days that are an option. Of course, if the training room's full, then it's probably because people that need tests are in training.
But, and you all really don't think that second date needs to be advertised? I just want to caution.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't
because
see
we've met
anything
the
in
intent
there
of telling
because-
everybody there is a test. And I think we. met the
Everybody who's eligible
requirement.
is gonna be notified of the 30th, right?
Correct.
Oh, is that notice also gonna indicate that there's a secondary date?
Well, let me ask you that. Do you want to advertise
No,
that?
I don't
was
think we
gonna
do.
say. No, but do you want to advertise that to them? I don't think you do.
No.
I
don't
think
we
it's
wanna say
only
you
for
got
the
a
people
choice.
that they tell
It's
us.
very, very narrow
Yeah.
who qualifies.
Yes.
It's not if,
If
you've
somebody
got this
decides,
training you've been putting off and you want to sit at your,
just a caution, if somebody decides they'd like the second date for some personal reason, that's not gonna work for them. Yeah. We don't want somebody to get, in trouble.
but I think we have to have all one test.
I'm fine with that.
But maybe, check with them when you order the tests and make sure that that's not going to be an issue.
I think we have to have the same test if we can. If
I
we
wouldn't-
can't, what are we gonna do about it?
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say which test is easier? You know what I mean?
Right, but
You know?
if you're comparing apples to apples, I'm sure the tests aren't wildly different, but
Yeah.
they're different.
I think what it boils down to is they are the same 84 question test, just rearranged.
Right.
I think that's what it boils down to.
And the ones I've seen in the past, and I've looked at both the A and B, and they're not even reworded. They're just put in different orders. But I think this would be a good,
Okay.
good work. I think this would be a good workaround, personally. That's me.
You think we've covered it with the first
I
motion?
think we're good.
All right. You think we're good?
Yes, sir, I do.
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I
So
make a
moved.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
5:38 adjourned.
I told my wife I'd be home by 5:30. That was including my driving
Almost,
time.
almost.